Ish, take off.
You ready to go?
Yes, I am.
All righty. But I'm not seeing any other people.
I think we have about 8 or so.
Okay, you were going to do that with your iPad, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no gallery view.
Okay.
No.
No, not that I can make it do it. We'll just move along.
Okay. Welcome to everyone who has attended today's orientation session. I want to thank you for putting aside the time to be here with us. I hope we are able to give you the information you need and answer all your questions. As we are going through the presentation, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat, and we will get to them, as they pop up. But I don't have a chat function here. Now I have it, Nora. Okay.
Okay, good.
We may not be able to get to it right in that moment, but we will get to all your questions if you can put them in the chat. Anyway, this is the orientation for Vassar's LLI program. Orientation for presenters and class managers. It's mostly slanted to class managers, but because class managers and presenters operate as a team throughout the course, if you're both knowing what's going on, that's an advantage to both of you. As you're working together throughout. Some of the information is relevant to the presenters, but I have to apologize to the presenters that most of the information has a slant more towards the class managers. But if you have any questions, if you're a presenter and you have any questions, feel free to ask them as we go through this. Okay, this is the second session. We did the first orientation on Monday, and after this session ends, as Nora said, it's being recorded. It will be posted on the LLI website, and we will show you what section you can access that if you want to. The slides, the PowerPoint will be online on the website or be posted on the website. Okay, next slide, Nora.
Class managers. Do you
I don't
see my
have it
name?
yet.
You don't have it up?
We had that same glitch Monday. No, it's not going to the next slide.
I went back to the first one.
Yep.
Now I moved to the second one. No?
Nope. It's
No.
not at the second one for me. There we go. We got
Well,
it.
this is the presenter view,
right.
not the presenter view, but we'll work with it again.
Right. So, any of you have the option of either taking screenshots of the information if you want them, or just referring to the website once this gets posted, after today. But the class manager coordinators, Mary Beth King used to be the one and only coordinator for all the class managers on campus or off. She has turned the responsibility over to Nora and myself. And Maribeth King is now just the class manager coordinator for the Zoom classes. So if you are a class manager or a presenter for the afternoon classes, you would contact me at the email address that's posted there if you need anything. If you are a class manager or a presenter for the morning classes, contact Nora at her email address that's posted there. I don't think we have anybody doing Zoom classes in this training orientation today, but if we do, let us know that. Okay, so today we're going to cover a fair amount of material. We're going to try and go through it in a fairly straightforward way so that we can get it all done within an hour. And by 5 o'clock, we'll be able to conclude so that we're not taking up too much of your time. But we will first go through some reminders about first day of class and best practices to make that first day a success for everybody. And then we're going to move on to the classroom technological issues and what the supports are going to be that are in place to support you with classroom technology. Then we're going to go over how class managers are needing to take attendance, what the procedures are for that. Then for the presenters, how and where does class material for your class get posted on the website, kept in reserve for the students in each class, where materials are being posted. Then we're going to do a demo for class managers and presenters on how to find your class roster in the ProClass application. You'll need that, find that class roster for class managers. You need to find that because that's how you send emails out to your class. Same thing with presenters. You send the emails to your class if you through the ProClass system. You can't send emails from your own uh, computer, your own web, whatever you web browser you use or whatever. And we'll go into reasons for that, why that is later on. And also the information about the orientation this coming Friday for classroom technology, the details about that. So that's what we're covering as we go forward right now. There is a PowerPoint being recorded right now of this presentation. As I said, that recording will be posted online on the Vassar LLI website. It is in the section on the website that says information for presenters and class managers. You just click on that and you'll see it indicates, if you scroll down that page where the PowerPoint is, you just click on where it says PowerPoint. Click here and you'll get this PowerPoint, these slides. Also online in that same section, information for presenters and class managers, are a kind of summary of guidelines for on-campus class managers. And that also sometimes people don't want to go through all the slides of the PowerPoint. There's a succinct summary of all the guidelines that's also posted in that same section. And you'll scroll down the page until you see that. And it says click here. You click, you open it up, and you can print out the guidelines if you want to have your own copy. Okay, next. Okay, we're going to talk about policies and best practices for the VCI LLI program that class managers need to follow as the classes start. Presenters as well. Parking passes, first thing. Some of you received parking passes last semester. Parking passes are going to be really important to have so that you don't get a ticket. The parking passes that you got last semester are no longer valid because there's an end expiration date on that parking pass that ended. So everyone on the first day of class, when you're on campus that first Friday, which is for most people September 26th, you go to the Kenyon lobby, which is where most people go. That's where most of the classes are held. You pick it up in the lobby at the welcome desk. You get your parking pass. If you're not there on the 26th, next Friday, not this Friday, the following Friday, if you're not there, after that first day, you go to the hospitality room, second floor of Kenyon, and the parking passes will be there. You have to follow the parking rules at Vassar. We are permitted to park in the north lot, the south lot, and the Kenyon parking lots. However, parking is scarce. It's always a challenge because there's lots of people on campus and not enough parking spaces. So if you cannot find a parking space in the north lot, the south lot, or a Kenyon lot, you basically can park anywhere on campus as long as that parking pass is on your dashboard. If it's on your dashboard, and even when you're in north and south lot and Kenyon lot, put the parking pass on your dashboard every week so that you don't get ticketed. You can,
Can I
when I
just add
say,
here too that on the first day of classes, as well
yeah,
as this Friday for the tech orientation, the Vassar has been alerted that we will be on campus without parking passes the first day and the orientation day. So
right.
they won't harass us on those days.
No tickets this coming Friday and no tickets first day of class. If,
Right.
because you got to get your parking pass first. But after that, they will be ticketing.
Yes.
Um, so There are shuttles that are going to be picking up people at the north lot, the south lot, and I think the sports center. You need to walk to those locations, and there's a sign at each of those locations that says pick up for shuttle here. And the shuttle will bring you to the Kenyon Hall building. The other thing about parking, you basically park wherever you can find a spot, but do not park in the handicap zones. Any handicap parking, you cannot park in with a parking pass or without it. You'll get ticketed unless you have a handicap, you know, whatever you hanging from your mirror. You need a parking handicap sticker to park in the handicap. So any handicap parking. Otherwise, just find a spot where you can and park. Put your parking pass on that front dashboard. Name badges. Next thing that's very important. We ask everyone to have a name badge and to wear your name badge whenever you're on campus. Why? Because it helps people to know who you are and to know that you're part of LLI, and it helps people to remember your name the next time they see you. It makes for connections, which most people joined LLI to build their social connections. So it helps a lot with that. If you have a if you have a name badge from last semester, you can use that again. Can't use last semester's parking pass, but you can use your name badge from last semester. Please bring it with you. If you don't have a name badge, you go to the Kenyon lobby on the first day of class to the welcome desk, and they will give you a name badge. It won't be pre-printed. You'll have to write your name on the badge and put it on a piece of paper and put it in the plastic holder, but they will have all the things that you need to make your own badge that first day when you get there. After the first day, it will be those same things to make your name badge. If you miss the first day, is in the second floor in the hospitality room in Kenyon. Okay. Life safety. On the first day of class managers are asked to be sure to inform your class of a few life safety needs, namely where the emergency exits are in relation to the classroom where you are. So you'll have to figure out where they are so you can tell the registrants in the class. Also where the elevator is in Kenyon. It's right opposite the hospitality room, but downstairs it's a little harder to find, so you'll have to explain that. Um, when you come into Kenyon, you turn right and then you go down a hall and the elevator is there, but it's behind a door. So you're going to have to find it and explain that to your class, and also where the bathrooms are. Okay, so arrive a few minutes before class so that you know where the emergency exits, the elevator, and the bathrooms are, so you can make those announcements to the class. Okay. The other announcements you want to make at the very beginning of the first class, I would you're going to introduce yourself in that first class, then you're going to introduce the presenter so that people know who both of you are, and then you're going to let them know that there's some housekeeping things that need to be taken care of, and you're going to make a few announcements. After you explain where the bathrooms, the elevator, and the emergency exits are, you need to be really clear with everybody in the class that their phone needs to be on silent mode. Some people put it on vibrate, which we're saying, and please clarify with the class that they need to put it on silent mode, not vibrate, because what happens is it's very distracting when the phone starts vibrating as the presenter is, giving their class, so that it's distracting people sit next to the phone that's vibrating, and mostly it's very distracting to the presenter. So please clarify that all phones need to be on silent mode, not vibrate mode, whenever they're in the classroom. Also, at no time can people bring food into the classroom. They can't eat in the classroom for obvious reasons. It makes a mess. It's a health and safety issue, and it's very distracting to the people around you. Okay, next. And the last, in terms of food and phones and all that, the last announcement that you want to make in that first class is to make sure people understand they can bring drinks into the classroom, but the drinks have to be with spill proof containers. There has to be a cover on the top of the container, whether it's a paper cup from the hospitality room needs to have a cover on the top of the cup, or if you're bringing your own uh, drink container, it has to have a cover on it. That's a non-negotiable. Just because if things spill, it makes a mess, and if it spills on the computer on the presenter's desk, it makes a disaster. So please make sure they understand that that's a non-negotiable. This is the web page, and I made reference earlier to the guidelines and the PowerPoint. They're going to be on the web page. So we have stars here for class managers and presenters, what tabs on the web page are going to be relevant to you. The course registration in ProClass, that is where you access ProClass, and ProClass is what you use to email the students, the registrants in the class. So each week you're going to have to send an email reminder to the class a couple days before the class meets. You go to ProClass to do that, to send all emails. The next section that is underneath that is current semester course materials, where Nora has the cursor there. Current semester course materials is where any course that has things that are being posted, like if you're in a film class, the films are posted there that the registrants need to watch. Um, if there are books being assigned or readings being assigned or for use for the class, those get posted there. And we'll go into more detail later about how things get posted and what gets posted. But for now, the current semester course materials is also a section on that website that is relevant, and the class presenter and class manager want to let your classmates know, the registrants in the class, that that's where they access the materials for their class, if any are posted. Some courses don't post anything, others post things. So you want to let them know that's where they would find them. And lastly, the star underneath down below, it says information for presenters and class managers. That's where a copy of this PowerPoint, the slides for the PowerPoint are going to be. And that's also where a summary of guidelines for class managers is also in that section. Okay, next.
You want me to do some of these?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So we do have on campus classroom tech support. Lifelong Learning has been able to hire a Vassar student as a student assistant. Her name is B. Pitt Stoller. I have her phone number here as well as her Vassar email. She will be attending orientation this Friday, so that'll be a chance if you're coming to that meeting to get to know her a little better. And she will be located during Fridays only in the hospitality room. So,
From
take
nine to
time,
five. From nine to 5.
9 to 5, from 9 to 5. And if you need tech help, say you're in the classroom and there's a panic moment, nothing's working, the things won't turn on, blah, blah, call or text her and she will, and tell her where you are, and she will come to your classroom. This is the quickest way to get B to come over to help you. Running down the hall to the lounge doesn't mean she'll be in the lounge when you get there. So call or text her.
And
And
I would encourage all class managers and presenters to write down her name and phone number, or take a screenshot of this
yes,
slide, so that when classes start that first Friday, you can reach her if
yes,
need be.
she will be
I wouldn't email her because
right.
that's going to take her longer. the text or the call is going to get you the quickest response.
Exactly. So posting class materials for the current semester. Um, if you have materials, as Tish mentioned, that you want posted, they'll be located on the main page for lifelong learning under current semester course materials. And these can include photographs, PDF files, short films, documents, an article, a website. I'm teaching a class, so I have submitted a general introductory handout that gives information to the students about what we're going to be doing, what they need. And then I've also had posted my first class information about the readings and some links to things I thought they might enjoy looking at outside the class. Now, when you have materials for the posting here, it will be viewable online by all members of Vassar College Lifelong Learning. And you'll go to the website, click on that link, and you will see the classes that have submitted material listed. Now, some of these classes have what is called copyrighted material. It's legally protected by law from being reproduced and can only really be used for educational purposes. These cannot be generally shown to everybody in the world. So we've had to get special permissions to access that material. So these are going to be behind a wall. And if you're in one of the students like the film classes, you will be provided with a login to access it through current semester course materials website. So
Well,
you
yeah,
may
just Nora,
sure
you're not really, what you're doing is when you click on, like if you're
the
taking the
course
film class,
name,
psychology and film, you click
right?
on the film, psychology and film course name, and it opens up to a blank bar, an empty bar, and you have to type in the password into
Exactly.
that bar in order to get past that bar to the films.
Right. And this is
That's kind of,
common at universities. I've worked at universities where we had whole offices who handled getting those copyright permissions to make these materials available. And they are restricted. My material that I'm putting up is not restricted, it's just general information. Copyrighted materials will, if somebody scans and puts up a chapter of a book, it'll have to be put behind a copyright wall. So keep that in mind if you're looking for materials or the students have trouble finding materials, and check to see if your professor has put anything up, and how it can be accessed. And I'll be honest, right now we are having trouble accessing my material. I'm not sure why. I'm working with Rachel, um, trying to figure out what the issue is, but I still can't see my own material. I don't understand why. To post the materials, the presenter normally will be doing this, but sometimes the class manager would help them. You're going to submit your materials to Mihai Grunfeld, and there's his email. And normally it's just Mihai, but he's away on vacation right now, so he's not available to post anything. So Rachel Aikens, who's the administrative assistant for lifelong learning, she also is going to be posting the materials. So right now, submit whatever you have to both of them. So there's a paper trail that they can go back and pull it from. Taking attendance on campus, this is a big part of the class manager's life. Before each class, as a class manager, you're going to go to the file box in the hospitality room on the second floor of Kenyon, and you're going to retrieve your assigned class attendance sheet from that box. The folders are labeled and color coded based on the class meeting time, so it's easy to figure out which one's yours, pull it, and be able to return it. If you're a class manager for a class, the last class of the day, the 3:20 p.m. start class, because the hospitality room closes at 3, you'll have to pick up your sheet in the file box in the hospitality room before 3 p.m. So keep that in mind with your schedule as you're going through the day. After 3 p.m., Rachel Aikens, who is oversees the attendance sheets, she will have taken that file box downstairs to the Kenyon lobby. And from 3 to 4:45, it will be available in the lobby. So if you're running a little late for the 3:20 class, go down to the lobby to pick up the attendance sheet. Bring the attendance sheet to the class, and at the start of the class, have attendees sign in as they enter the room. So I like to station myself by the door when I've done this. You don't need to chase down people in the room. If somebody comes in late, don't disrupt the class by chasing them to get them to sign. Just make sure that you know which person it is and get them to sign before they leave the class.
Nora, or sometimes, so what some people do is when the class ends, you just make a general announcement that
Yes,
everyone signed the attendance sheet, and if you
yes,
didn't, you sign it now.
yes, that's a good way to handle that too.
Yep.
If a person is not registered in the class, or either not on that attendance sheet, they cannot attend the class. Now, in this case, if you have that happen, just ask discreetly, did you register for the class? And if there's a problem, uh, find out what's going on by talking to the Rachel, for example. She can check to see the enrollment rolls. Talk to either Tish or I, because we can look at the enrollment rolls as well and see if somebody dropped a class, somebody's in the process of adding to the class, or somebody just walked in and thought they could just sit in on any class. And that is not allowed because we have space limitations in the room as well as what the preferences of the instructor are in terms of number of attendees. So let's go to the next slide here. And Tish, you want to talk about what to do after each class?
Sure. Once that attendance sheet has been filled out, you have to return it before you leave campus, no later than 10 minutes after your class ends. Why no later than 10 minutes? Because Rachel Etkin, who, as Nora explained, she's the administrative assistant. She takes care of all the attendance. So if you can imagine, if she doesn't get some of the attendance sheets, she has to go chasing after people to get attendance sheets, and she's got to wait and has a backlog to data enter. It gets crazy because there's a lot of classes being held at the same time. So she has asked us to ask all the class managers to please, as soon as class ends, go to the hospitality room to turn in that attendance sheet as soon as class ends before you go anywhere else, so that way she's got the sheet, you've met your responsibility, and life carries on without any kind of problems. After your if you have a 320 class, if you're a class manager for a 320 class, the hospitality room it closes promptly at 3 p.m. It's never open after 3 p.m. and we don't have any control over that. That's Vassar's policies. Um, anyway, after after the 320 class, you can't get into the hospitality room. As Nora said, uh, Rachel has brought that file box with all the folders to put your attendance sheet back in. She's moved it to the Kenyon lobby, and she's sitting there with the box until 4:45. At 4:45, she goes back to her office next door in Blodgett Hall, and she stays there from 4:45 to 5. And then she leaves. And coincidentally, the doors at Blodgett Hall also lock at 5 o'clock. So and it has happened to a few people, if you don't turn that attendance sheet in, because the 320 class ends at 4:35. You got 10 minutes to get to that file box in Kenyon. If you don't get it in that box in Kenyon, you've got to go over to Blodgett Hall right away to get there before the door closes at 5, because if the door is closed, you're stuck with an attendance sheet that can't get turned in anywhere. Um, Rachel has a file box outside her office in room 115 at Blodgett Hall. That's the LLI office. And you can just put the sheet in that file box and she'll get it. If you miss her, if she's not in her office or whatever. And if you have classes that meet in Blodgett Hall, you do not need to go to Kenyon to return it in the file box over there. You just put it in the hanging file box right outside Rachel's office at room 115, right in Blodgett Hall. I hope that isn't too confusing. Hope that's clear. Any questions? Just put them in the chat. Um, As far as taking attendance, if you are class manager for a class that meets offsite, off-campus classes, and there are a few of them, you do what we call electronic reporting. And that's very simple. I'm going to try and make it sound as simple as it is because it's really simple.
And
Um,
I've done it. It is very simple.
when you're sitting into class, when you're somewhere off-site, in a classroom, you're going to count heads while you're sitting there while the class is going on. You're going to count how many people are seated for that class, not including the presenter. How many folks are sitting in the classroom? And when class ends, you're going to go to the LLI website, the one we showed you before, and you're going to go to the section that says information for presenters and class managers. You're going to open that, you're going to click on that tab, and that opens the page. If you scroll halfway down towards the bottom of the page, it will say, for off campus classes, for attendance, for reporting attendance for off campus classes, click here. And it opens a form. It opens to a form. And the form asks you to put the date, the name of the class, and then how many people, the number. That's all you got to do. The name of the class, the date of the class, the date the class met, and the total number of heads that you counted that day in the classroom. And the spreadsheet automatically gets populated that way. So it's pretty simple. Let's see, course evaluations. At the end of each class, Rachel, the administrative assistant, she emails to every single registrant for each class an evaluation form to fill out for that class. She asks people to complete the evaluation form within 5 days, to do it pretty quickly so that people don't forget to do it. Your job as class manager is to send an email when you'll get an evaluation mailed to you because you're part of the class. When that evaluation comes to you, you're going to send an email to the people in your class reminding them to please complete the evaluation at their earliest convenience. The evaluation, that form that you get, the whole thing expires. It'll disappear after 5 to 7 days. So that she needs those, within the week that you get the email to fill out the evaluation. So just to remind everybody in the class to fill out their evaluation for each course that they take. Okay. Okay. You want me to do this? Keep going?
I can do it. Just want to
Okay,
give
go
you a
for it.
break there.
All
So
right.
we've been talking about emails sent by class managers to the students. Now we're going to cover that portion of the program and explain how this is done and then show you some screenshots so that you'll kind of recognize where you have to go. This is a lot of information, so please, if you're having problems, let us know. We'll be happy to help you figure out how to do it correctly. You are asked to send an email to your class presenter at least a week or two before your class starts. Introduce yourself and ask how you can help them. For example, how do they want to be introduced? Do they have any special needs? The, Many of our instructors, presenters have had experience working at Vassar before, so they're very familiar with the process. But, make sure that they know you're there to help them. You also will send an email with the class information, as you see on the right side of the screen, to your class students. Introduce yourself as the class manager at least 1 week prior to the class start date. And you're going to mail them this information: the name of the course, the times it meets, the weeks it meets, the dates, who's presenting the class, who you are, and where the class is meeting. And if you're a Zoom presenter, a class manager, you'll also give them the Zoom link. It's been a couple of weeks since people registered. I mean, I've been in classes where somebody walks in and said, "I don't remember if I registered for this class or not." Oh, is this what it's about? No, I don't want to really. They need to know before they come what they're going to. And so this will help people, remember all of that. Email the class every week that it's meeting. Again, remind them that the class is going to meet on Friday, and let them know at least 2 days before each class. And all these messages are sent through the Vassar College Lifelong Learning email system that we offered through ProClass. And they are sent BCC, blind carbon copy, to all class participants. This is a privacy thing. Many people don't like to see their emails out there shared with people they don't know very well. So by BCCing, you're protecting each person. Do
Nora,
not email. Go on. Right? Yeah.
let me just interject here.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, I use Gmail, so I'll just send the email
Yes.
through my Gmail system. I'll, get everybody's email who's in the class, and I'll just send it through Gmail because I understand how to do it. I know how to send emails through Gmail. This faster system's too confusing, so I'll just send it through Gmail. The reason you can't do that is because when you use the faster system, it's already set up to blind copy every single student's email address so that you
Yep.
don't have to blind copy every address. It's automatically blind copied. And because it's a Vassar LLI email, there's certain protocol that has to be followed to, respect the privacy of people. And that's why you can't send it through your own, your Gmail address or whatever else.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it will also protect your privacy. You
Correct.
don't, if there's somebody in the class, you don't want them to have your personal email. Well, now you're going through the Vassar Pro Class email system. You're protected that way as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. The last part, very important. Nope, go
Whoop.
back.
Do
Skip.
not email the presenter using this system when you are emailing the students at the same time, because the presenter will get a bounce back from every one of those emails. So if there's 100 people in the class, and there are some sessions like that, they're going to see 100 emails back in their contact box. So you can email the presenters separately to let them know what you're doing, but do not include them in the group that you send out of the students. Now, I've mentioned ProClass a couple of times, so that's what you're going to use, and it's easy to do once you um, see the process and go through it a couple of times. It will make your life a lot easier. Okay, Trish, let you
Yep.
take the ball.
Okay. We're going to walk you through, and I'm going to try and make it as unconfusing as possible. Um, once you master it, it's very easy to do. Um, for in order to send emails to the students in the class, you need to be able to access the roster for that class. The roster being a fancy name for, the listing of all the students who are in the class. That is in the pro class, and on the front page of the website, it's registration/pro class is the tab that you're going to click to go to pro class. And once you open that page, you'll scroll down until you see to access pro class, click here, and you click on that, and it takes you to pro class.
So
You
far, it's the same process you've used when you registered for your classes.
Right. The class managers, when we assign class managers to each class, and when presenters said, this is the class that I'm going to teach, Nora and I data entered all the class managers. Sudhir entered the presenters' names under that heading called instructor. So that gives you a special status: instructor/presenter, instructor/class manager. It gives you a special status that allows you to have access to the roster for your specific class in pro class. Nobody else has access to that roster except you, because the presenter and the class manager's names are the only ones who are listed to be able to access the roster for their specific class. You cannot access the rosters for any other class other than the one that you're class manager for or the one you're presenting for. Okay. By accessing the roster, the class roster, you can see the list of the names, email addresses, phone numbers of all the class participants. You can see, you can either email an individual registrant who might have emailed you. You email them back through that pro class, not through your Gmail email back. And the roster, whenever anybody drops or adds the course, the roster automatically updates, so that it's always 100% accurate. Okay. So the way that you access it, and you may want to take a screenshot of this or take notes, whatever works for you. But the first thing you do is you have to log into ProClass. You all established an account when you first joined LLI. And in order to register for classes, you had to have an account. So you log into your account. You open ProClass and you log in. That's the first thing you do. Then you're gonna, and we're gonna, after I go down this list, we're gonna show you visuals of what the screen looks like and walk you through the same thing again that I'm gonna walk you through now. So you log in, then you click on, on the upper left hand, there's a bar in the screen. You click on a thing that says roster. Then you select the date for the class. The class is meeting. So if it's the first class on Friday the 26th, I select, there's a calendar that drops down. You're going to click on 26 for the September calendar. If I'm sending an email about the class that meets on October 3rd, I'm going to click on 3. If your class meets September 26th and September 3rd, and you're sending email reminders out each week, you're just going to click on, if it's the second week, it's at October 3rd, you're going to click on October 3rd before you send the email. So it's the date of the class that you're referring to, right? If it's the first class, it would be September 26th if that's your first class. If it's subsequent classes that you're sending email reminders each week, it's whatever date that class is for the upcoming Friday. That's the date you click. Then after you get the date established, you go back and click roster for the registrants again. So you click, after you log in, you click roster, you select the date of the class. If you don't select the date, it's not going to work. You have to have the date there. Then you select roster again. After that, you're going to click on the bar at the top that says email. Then you're still not going to get the roster to email them until you select the category. The next screen pops down. You have to select the category. You're selecting student, and it's a drop down box, and the student is the first thing, the first box. So you just click the box next to student, and then you click continue. After that, the a template pops up when you say continue. There's a drop down. There's only one thing in the drop down. It says class manager to class members. You're going to click on the template, and that drop down class manager to class members will show up, and you just click it because you're basically telling the computer it's the class manager who sent an email to the class members so that the computer knows how to send integrate the roster with the email. Then there's a subject line that you're going to, like with any email, there's a subject line. What's really important is every single time you send an email, in the subject line, you begin the email with VC space LLI colon, and then the name of your course. Why do you have to do that? Because when you registered and you got the letter saying, welcome to LLI, we've accepted your application. When you first applied, you got an email from VC LLI. So your computer at home knows, and every student in the class, their computer knows VC LLI because they've gotten previous emails from VC LLI. If you don't put VC LLI, the person's computer who you're sending it to may not recognize it. It goes in the junk file, goes in spam. So that's why it's really critical for every email you send out to start in the subject line VC space LLI colon. And if you use that format, some people put VC LLI with no space in between the VC and the LLI. The person's computer, that's a different format. They may not recognize it. So VC space LLI colon, and then the course name. It'll get to the recipient. And then you write in the body of the email whatever you're going to write. You type your message, and then you hit send. So now we're going to do a walkthrough with visuals of where these buttons are on that ProClass screen. So the login, you see the arrow, that's the login button. So as soon as you hit ProClass and open it up, you're going to hit login, and you're going to log in to your account, to your email account. After that, your screen will open, and you see roster up there where the arrow is. You're going to click roster. That's all you got to do with that screen. You don't have to do anything else. Just click roster. Next. Then you do the date. Remember the date? So if it's September 26th, this is a calendar from from 2022, but it'll be current. It'll say September 2025. It'll drop down. If it's September 26th class, you're going to click that Friday 26, and then the calendar disappears. And then you click roster again. So you got to click roster before the calendar, after you log in, and then the calendar, and then roster, which is down. You'll see it on that screen down there. The name of your course will be there, the date that you entered, and how many registrants you have. All that's on there, but all you got to do, just make sure it's your course and make sure the date's correct. After that, just hit roster, click roster. Then your roster will appear. This is a sample roster. We blacked out the phones and the email addresses for privacy purposes, but you'll see that when you do yours, all the students in your class, all the registrants are listed, usually in alphabetical order. You'll see also that there's an email address under each person's name. If you're sending an email just to one person, you'd click the email under their name, that email button. But you're not usually going to do that. You're usually, every week, if your class meets Friday, on Wednesday, every week you send them a reminder that your next class is meeting this coming Friday. To do that, you're going to send it to the entire class. You click email on the top bar, not that's under the students' names. You do it up top, you click email. That's to send it to the whole class. Then the next window comes up. It says select email recipient type. You're going to click student. Then you click down below, continue. Now you've got the format for your email, which has already got your name printed up there. It's already got, the number of recipients and all that. You'll see the subject line. And it says begin with BC space LLI colon, and then you'd write the name of your class, name of the course in there. Okay, that's all you got to do. And then you come down below that and write your message. The computer automatically, when you click the email on the top bar, it automatically BCCs the email addresses for all the recipients. You don't have to. The message that you're going to put, go back. The message usually for the reminder, it's short and sweet. Dear class, or dear, whatever you're going to call them. This is to remind you that we will be meeting for psychology and literature this Friday, October 3rd, from 1:45 to whatever the ending time is, 1:45 to 3 o'clock at in Kenyon Hall, room 115. And if the presenter asks them to bring the book that they're reading, or bring handouts that were posted in the course materials thing on the website, you would want to put that in there. Please remember to bring to read the course material assigned for this week before class. Please remember to bring your book that we're reading with you to class, or whatever. If there's any other announcement, you'd include that. It's basically to remind people. Some people have really busy lives. Some of us don't remember things all the time. We remember parts of it, but we don't necessarily remember it at all. So the class manager's job is to remind people when the next course is meeting on this date, where it meets, the building the building name, usually Kenyon. It's either Kenyon Hall or Blotchet Hall, usually, and the room number. And then any in the next paragraph, any instructions that they need for that particular class. Please remember to bring your book. Please remember whatever. And then see you Friday. See you in class. And that's it. You sign your name, and that's it. It's a short, sweet email with just those particulars. Okay, so we basically covered all what the class managers need to do and some of what presenters need to know about. What happens if the class manager is absent? They get sick. They have a doctor's appointment and they can't make it that particular class day. In that email, you would indicate that you will not be there on Friday, but you're going to put the name of the person in the class who's going to cover for you and be acting class manager in your absence, so that you can either do that in the reminder class email sent 2 days before each class every week that the class meets, or you can send a separate email to the whole class indicating that you're not going to be in class on this particular date. And then you're going to identify, as class manager, it's your job to find a responsible person in the class to cover for you if you happen to, be missing, be absent at one of the classes. I'd suggest if there's a person in the class who's been a class manager before, pick them because they know what to do. If there's nobody in class who's a class manager, then just pick somebody who can take attendance, because that's basically what they're going to be doing. some people aren't comfortable, having to make announcements and say, did everybody sign the sheet and all that. They probably don't want to do that. But some people are okay to talk to the whole class. And, so you want to pick somebody who can do that. Um, if you're if you're able to send the email on Wednesday reminding them of the Friday class and provide the name who will be covering, do that. If, however, I had a situation once somebody said, I'm going to be out of the country and I'm going to be where there is no internet, what do I do? Then you if I'm your class manager coordinator, if it's an afternoon class, or if Nora is for morning classes, you email us and say, I can't send the reminder next week Wednesday because I'll be out of the country, and can you please send that reminder for me? And this is the name of the person who's going to be covering. Can you just include that information in the email? And Nora or I will, send that out to your class for you. Um, you also want to send an email to the presenter that you're not going to be there. Not in that, never in the email that goes to all the students, because they'll just get, if you got 30 students in your class, they'll get 30 emails with the same message. Um, but
Now
you
we
in a
know
separate.
life gets in the way. So if something of an emergency occurs, you know, try to contact somebody, be it the presenter or us, or get the word to us in some way that we know that, you have had something happen and you are not able to come in. Yeah, we're here to
Yeah.
help you, but that's only for emergency situations.
And the person who you're going to identify as a responsible person to cover for you, they can't access that pro class email system because
Right.
they don't have the instructor, title, so that we have to send the email for you. So if you're not going to be in class, you should email us so we know to send the email, or to make sure that you're sending it, just so it's going out. Also, in all situations, the person who you designate as covering for you, they are responsible for the attendance sheet. So you'll have to let them know what the procedure is for getting the attendance sheet, getting it signed, and where to return it. And if it's a 3:30, 3:20 class, you'll have to explain to them they got to get the sheet either before 3 or, downstairs in the line. You'll have to go over that with them so they know what to do. Okay, last slide.
Yay. The next
The
meeting.
The classroom technology orientation is the next meeting for class managers and presenters before courses start on the 26th. That is this Friday, 11 a.m. in person in Kenyon Hall, room 132. It goes over how to turn the lights on and off, how to raise the blinds, how to lower the blinds if you're using the overhead, how to use the overhead, how to use that computer to make all those things happen, or how to use the switches on the wall to turn the lights on or dim the lights, or up in you can't manually raise and lower the shades. All those things is what they go over this Friday. So hopefully you can attend that orientation if you haven't in the past, or if you have and you need a refresher. And then immediately after that orientation, there is also in Kenyon, in the hospitality room on the second floor, a pizza party starting at 12 noon for all presenters and class managers, with Nora, me, and other members of the executive council, who make the do all the behind the scenes stuff at LLI. We'll be there, and we hope to see you at the pizza party. That, you'll have some pizza, you'll chat for a while, and then you can go home. And that basically covers most of what we've talked about. Nora and I are always available if you have questions, if you have problems and you need support. You can email Nora, you can email me, throughout the semester, if you need any assistance. Any questions before we go?
Nothing in the chat? Whoa.
Perfect. I don't even see anything in the chat. I guess we explained it clearly. I hope we did. I hope you're not totally
Yeah, and
confused.
we're right
On
on
the
time.
website,
Thank you.
yeah, on the website, as I said, the guidelines will be posted there in a couple days. And if you have any difficulty sending those emails, that first one, contact us because I have a hard copy of those steps, step by step. I can email it to you so you can, get through it. Once you figure out how to do it, it is like simple. It's not rocket science, but I know explaining it without doing it, it sounds a little confusing.
Hi,
Um,
Nadine.
how
If
can
you
you
want, we can, if you're not there Friday, try to catch one of us um, before then.
There is a
And
video, Nadine, on the LLI website. Information for presenters and class managers. If you go in there, there is a video. It's a short video. It kind of gives you an overview of the classroom technology. Where do you go to turn the lights on? How do you raise and lower the shades? And how do you work that computer? If
and
you
don't
have
forget, there's the student assistant as well.
Right.
Yeah. If you have the zip drive or if you're going to use your computer, your laptop, you just need to bring whatever you can to plug it in to that computer to get things on the overhead, or whatever you're going to use to connect the Vassar computer with your computer. But that also it explains how you connect them on that video. Does that help?
Now, we plan to write sort of a description of what you can do for the different steps of opening up the room, getting the machine. Most instructors know what to do. They're pretty tech savvy. It depends on who you've been assigned to. So you want to check with your instructor to find out if what will they need assistance with technology. So then you got a heads up that you might want to get the student in that room first day to make sure everything is working correctly.
I have a
Also,
question.
if any of
Sure.
your presenters say they need a
As a
table,
presenter.
a moving table, a table that you can use other than, I mean, all the desks, you can't move them around in those classrooms. They're screwed to the floor. If you need tables or if you need any kind of material, stuff in the classrooms, you would email Rachel Etkin. And her email address is on our presentation, but it's also, if you Google Vassar LLI and, go to staff or go on the website, you'll find her address. It's retkin at Vassar.edu, Vassar.edu. It's retkin at Vassar.